Welcome to the Kinjaz PodKast. Here we will discuss dance, life, and whatever the we want.
Welcome back to the Kinjaz PodKast. We're your hosts, Ben.
I'm Charles.
And you got Mike Fowl.
Mike Fowl's talking from behind the camera. You can't see him, but he's there.
I'm
like
here. I'm
Charlie
here.
from Charlie's Angels. Well, this is Charlie from Kinjaz. Guys, we have a very, really dope person in the house today. You can see her already on video, but for the listeners, you don't see her yet. You might recognize her from that thing on the internet called, what is it, YouTube or something like that?
Something like that, I think.
She is a dancer, choreographer, host. You might recognize her from interviews on Group 9 Media, NBC, World of Dance, so many other things. She's done so many campaigns like Target, Nike, Revlon, Head and Shoulders, apparently, which is really interesting for those who have dandruff.
She has.
She was in the movie Step Up Revolution in 2012.
Wow.
She has her own podcast called Just a Tip. Just a Tip.
And not the
Just
tip.
to clarify. Yes, we have the very talented, beautiful Megan Batoon is here.
Guys,
Welcome.
I'm here, and I am holding a Kinjaz pillow.
Yes.
For those of you that can't see.
I love it. Megan, so we're really happy that you're here because you're one of few of our female guests that we've had. And we've been getting a lot of feedback from, fans that are listening. They're like, hey, we love all the dudes that you guys bring on, but like, what's up with the ladies? We're like, guys, don't worry. We have really cool,
Guys, don't worry.
Yes.
But ladies, you should worry.
Ladies, this is for you guys. Megan, welcome to the show.
Thank you
How
so
are
much.
you?
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
This is so cool. First of all, I love you guys.
Yay.
This is so sick. I'm so happy that you asked me. Thank you.
Heck yeah. I don't know. I feel like everybody loves origin stories, so like give us the 101. Like where are you from? That whole thing.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
How much time do you
Megan?
have?
We have, as long as you want. We'll go for as long as you want.
We're all 60 years old. I'm still like, and
Still
then
here.
I turned 8. So in depth.
Okay, you can
Good.
skip the lollipop part. We get it. Please.
Yeah, I
That's
love
so
it.
funny.
Yeah.
I'm from Florida.
Florida.
Which I guess is just fast forwarding so much. How I met a lot of our friends is on Step Up when they filmed in Miami, and I was working as a local. But backtrack way before then. I was born in Jacksonville, and I started dancing when I was like 18. And then I was taking YouTube dance classes where I would, this is before they had like YouTube dance classes, but like people would upload a video like Keone and Mari or something, or like I learned a lot of Kyle's videos in the beginning, and I would put my laptop, I did not steal Kyle's laptop, but I would put my laptop in the mirror and then press pause a lot. So it's like slow motion, or it was before YouTube had the slow motion option, before they even had that. So I had to manually do slow motion and then mimic and mirror everything that the moves were, and then I would do it full speed, and that's how I learned to dance.
That's amazing.
It's really weird.
So this is
That's
18
wild.
years old.
Yeah, in my garage.
And how old were you when you did Step Up?
19.
What?
So a year from learning
Yeah.
dance, you booked a movie about dance.
That is weird.
That's like,
I guess I'm not qualified to be
you're
in
a
that
pretty
movie.
fast learner.
Maybe I
Wow.
was 7. No, I think it was 17 or 18. But yeah, I really started taking it seriously, and then I don't know what happened with that. That was kind of a fluke.
Was that an audition that you went to and then like you just
Yeah.
booked it?
Well, there was 5 auditions, and I was like, this is taking too long. I didn't know anything about auditioning either, so I didn't know what a callback was. I didn't know that I had to freestyle or be prepared for anything. I didn't know I had to wear makeup. I was just like going. And so I did it. I did the 5 auditions, and then I was finally like, this is a waste of my time. If you don't want me now, you're not going to want me for the movie. So
Right.
I cut all my hair off and I went back to school, graphic design school. And then my first day of college at this junior year in my university, my agent was emailing me, and she was like, the producers are asking for you. There's one more callback. I was like, absolutely not. I'm going to college in Jacksonville. The audition was in Miami, so it's 6 hours away.
Yeah.
And when you first start going to school, if you drop out, you got to pay for all your classes,
Yeah.
even if you don't go to them. And so I was like, this is a huge risk. And I guess I ended up writing my dad a letter, who I was staying at his house for free, just so I could not waste all of my money in college. And then I went down to Miami and booked it. And then the director put me in place of another girl that tore her ACL. So I was only booked as a local. Whoa. And then the director, Scott Spear, was like, we want you for the rest of this girl's parts who like killed her shit. And I was like, yeah, for sure. So I ended up staying there for like 5 months and then getting close to Pac-Man and Tight Eyes and all Jet and all everybody. So that's how I guess started my relationships with the dance community. It's like, if that girl didn't tear her ACL, I probably wouldn't be here.
Shout out the girl who tore her ACL.
Shout out.
Megan, thanks her.
I hope your
Thanks
ACL's doing better.
Yes.
Yes, we hope you're fine.
Well, so, okay. This is, Step Up was your first job, industry job?
Yes.
What?
So you literally went from learning dance for a year or so, and then you auditioned for a movie and you booked it.
Yeah, it was not my first audition though. I think my first audition was for Footloose, and we did Bollywood, which doesn't make much sense. I also didn't see the movie, but you wouldn't think that it would be Bollywood.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that was my first audition, and then my second audition was Step Up.
Wow.
But like that's the craziest first job, and it was like kind of my last job.
Oh.
I did like Spanish award shows and like some stuff here and there, music videos, but like that was like the first and last big thing.
Were you, so you said you learned dance off of YouTube. Was that like all just off of like urban dance type styles, or was there any sort of classical training in there at all?
No.
Ballet off of YouTube? Did they do that?
They probably do.
Probably.
Maybe not. Maybe it's a little pretentious. I feel like they're like, you have to be involved.
Right.
But like, I should have been more well-rounded, but I was just so taken away with, I didn't know like the urban choreography style. I mean, like it didn't exist really. So I was like watching a bunch of Kyle Hanagami and Ellen Kim videos, and I was like, I love this. And there's like, I did like some jazz funk, and that was just not my jam. And so, cause I was a cheerleader, so I'm like pretty rigid, and I can remember things, and I've got like some control. So I felt like that was the easiest dance style that meshed with how I already moved because of cheerleading.
Yeah. So after Step Up, how long did you stay in Florida before you made the move out to LA?
I think we stopped filming. I think the filming essentially was 3 to 4 months, and I stayed, I think, like 5 or 6, and I worked 4 different jobs in order to have enough money. And then I bought a Virgin America flight out
Virgin,
here.
Yeah.
Shout out. They don't exist anymore, I guess. But yeah, January 12th is when I moved out here.
Wow.
I'll always remember that.
January 12th, what year?
I think 2012.
Whoa.
2012.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like when we were all out there in
We're
LA.
doing our timeline right now.
I'm trying to just sync everything together.
Yeah, I mean, like, so when you started dance and you booked this movie, was there this plan that you kind of had, like, I'm going to learn how to dance, I'm going to be an industry, dancer and book, movies, commercials, music videos? Was that like the plan, or did you just kind of find yourself doing those things just on the fly?
Right, yeah, I'm not sure if it was a plan or if it just kind of happened. I definitely knew I loved to dance. There's so many instances in my life where like my parents took my car away. They told me I couldn't go to dance practice and I needed to do college. And it's like, I always just kept on rebelling to dance, whether it was like driving 2 hours on a Wednesday when I had like finals the next day just to dance. Got my car taken away. I found another ride every single day to a dance practice in Orlando. So like they couldn't keep me away from it in the beginning until they were just like, she's gonna do it. So she's just gonna dance.
Well, speaking of which, then, so your parents did not really support it in the beginning. Got it. And they wanted you to just kind of like, hey, focus on school and
Welcome to
do
our
that whole
lives.
Right, but that's like kind of all of us, right? Especially in the Asian community, like everyone wants us to be what nurses or dentists or doctors. And it's like, well, we're not going to do that. I've mentioned it before. It's like, I think that generation just didn't know that you could be successful in like a foreign hobby, I guess, in their mind. So that's why they were just keep trying to keep me away from that. And they're like, they know that school works. They know that a full-time job is gonna support me. But until I started coming up with the checks from Step Up in these music videos, they were like, oh, you're not going to die. So they're like more into it.
Oh, you're good at this.
Oh, okay. You can provide dinner for all of us.
You're doing great.
Yeah. So I would imagine your parents are cool with it now. They support it now.
Yes.
Yeah. So was it that shift of once they saw you kind of being able to have your own livelihood off of dance that they were able to be like, okay, you're going to be fine and we'll keep supporting that?
I think so. I mean, it's also like a fluke, like the first job. It's like, yeah, you got a job, but you don't have like a second job, you know, in the dance industry unless you do like you teach a lot or you have like a studio or something like that. But so I think they were just worried. And then after I just kind of like, I don't think they gave up, but there was no way that I wasn't going to get what I wanted.
Sure.
Like with my pants, I was like, I'm going to dance and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you can worry about me or you cannot, but I'm going to do it no matter what.
So you moved out to LA.
Right?
Yeah.
Yikes. I was a little brat, I guess.
No. You're just strong. That's strong, man. That's strong.
So when you moved out to LA, you came out by yourself?
Yes. Well, technically, one of the girls from Step Up, I was going to come here regardless, but she, in the very end, was like, I'm going to move with you. And I was like, dope, half rent. And then I came out here and I stayed on my friend Tony's couch for like far too long for him to have let me do that. I met him also on Step Up, and then he was like, okay, where are you gonna live now? And I was like, oh right, your couch isn't my apartment. And so I ended up finding a girl, Amanda, my first roommate for six months on Facebook. We met at a party once at HHI. It was really funny actually, but in the end we ended up living together for so long. The other girl I moved out with went back to Florida, and so I was just here kind of alone, but definitely in the arms of someone that I kind of knew at the time, Amanda, but now we're like great friends, so that's good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Shout out Amanda.
Don't worry, I'll link in the show.
So what was that like that first year, I think anytime anyone makes that move or that leap of uprooting from home to go out and pursue the dream, it's a scary thing.
So scary.
Right? There's nothing guaranteed. Parents aren't there to help you out, right? And so what can you kind of walk us through what kind of kept you going, and like what was the mentality like when you were out here like that first year or so?
Yeah, that's so interesting. I haven't thought about this since I probably lived it. But I think knowing a few people from Step Up, if I didn't do that job, I probably wouldn't have come out here. Also, okay, this is a very interesting and pretty ignorant story because I loved choreo cookies growing up, and I still do. And so I was watching, all I had was YouTube, so all I saw was what the dance community in Orlando was sharing, and a lot of it was like the very small group of like choreo cookies and like Ving, and just kind of like very small. You didn't branch out to other styles. It was like once you found that style, you loved it. And so it's like that's all I saw. And so it was like I would do anything to be on choreo cookies. And at the time I didn't know that like you had to kind of grow up in that studio in order to be on it. And so I was like, I'll do anything. So that's the reason I started kind of dancing. I was like, I'm gonna get good enough and then go out to, I thought they were in LA. I didn't know that San Diego was not LA.
It's the same thing as LA, right?
And so I moved out here and I was like, oh no, I didn't look at a map. And so I started taking classes. Thank God I knew some people already from Step Up, and I started taking classes at ML. And I didn't do like the 3 classes a day because I just didn't have stamina for that. So I'd do like 1 class a day, and then got pretty close to a couple people there. That I think is the only thing that kept me staying here, because if I didn't have that, I would have wanted to move right away, because I found the community at the time. Like ML was so sick. It was like a social club and a studio at the same time. It was like best friends that didn't care about like being famous and didn't make videos for the views. It was, I mean, like that's always part of it, but it was like we're all gonna do concept videos and we're all gonna like help each other out, and like nobody's getting paid and it doesn't matter, and it was just all for the love of it, and everybody was pushing for creativity and ingenuity, and it just was different back then. But I think if it weren't for ML at the time, I probably wouldn't stay.
Got it.
Or the ML community.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, we talk about community stuff here all the time. I mean, that's what the Kinjaz Dojo is, literally a community built studio. And, you know, shout out Sean, you know, for creating ML. I think that's something that when we think about what we're doing now within the entertainment industry, but then like we kind of fuse this sort of homegrown community vibe. And you know, when I look at people within ML, like I remember the beginnings of it. Like, yeah, it was like this. All of us would just congregate, and it was just like a party, but it was all like just positive vibes and encouragement and all that. And I think that sort of, I guess that energy and the mentality, I feel like is now kind of fused into what we know to be commercial stuff, because we have, you know, guys like Lyle and Sean, Keone, Mari, like doing big industry jobs, choreographing for, you know, campaigns, artists, and all that kind of stuff. And it's cool to see how the evolution of I would even say the dance industry, I feel like the community vibe has really kind of like infiltrated that.
Yeah.
In like a good way.
Yes.
In a really good way, right?
love
So
that.
yeah, for yourself then, you mentioned that Step Up was kind of your first job and your last, right? The quote unquote.
Yeah.
I think I kind of know what you mean by that. But so when you got to LA and you saw the industry and like how it was or is, what were your thoughts in terms of whether you thought that that was for you or not?
I didn't realize it wasn't for me until I realized it wasn't for me. And it was a very specific moment where I decided, like, I hate this, because I didn't know that there was something else. Like, I knew about community. I like to go to classes after, but like the job was to get a job, right? So like every day you wake up and you're like, I'm going to audition for this thing that I have no idea about, that I'm not qualified for, that I'm too fat for. People are prettier and better, and other people know this choreographer. And it's like, I hate this. Like, I'm putting myself in a position to feel bad. Like, as soon as I wake up, it's like, ready to feel bad. Like, to-do list, hate yourself. Like, I'm not about that. And so, but like, it's for different people, and I'm not the person that it's for. So I would go to these auditions, and like, this is before I started like getting into fitness. And so like, I was a thicker girl for sure. And at the time it wasn't popular to be thick. Like, people didn't like being thick. And so they're like, so many times I got typecasted, like, and I'm for sure it wasn't because, I don't think it was because of my hair color or anything. It was like, oh, I'm too big for this, or it just felt bad. And so I remember having to like everything, like, wear something body conscious. And I'm like, why do you want me to feel like this? But it's like, it's an internal thing for sure.
Yeah.
But so I would have to like go into this audition, this cattle call of like 500 other girls, and we're collectively wearing like one shirt. Like, everyone's wearing the tiniest clothes.
Yeah.
And we have to fight for our lives
Yeah.
to be behind another person. And it was just like, I went to school for graphic design. I always loved comedy. I could write, I could edit. Like, I was like, why am I doing this one thing that's like my least good skill? And so I remember being outside. It was actually at ML. I don't know who was holding the audition here, but it was an audition at ML. Maybe, I don't think it was for Justin Bieber. It was for somebody, some pop artist. And everyone, I think, Mike, I think you may have been at this audition.
I was there for sure.
Yeah.
I was at ML 24 hours a day.
Yeah. I think you were outside. It was like you, me, Amanda, and I think there was one more girl. And we were all outside, and everyone was going over the counts because they were about to audition. And I had already learned the piece. So I've already invested, like maybe 2 hours here, not including the 5 that it took to put my makeup on. And then so I was out there, and I was watching a YouTube video of my friends now, Wong Fu Productions. They do like romantic comedy shorts. And so I was watching a short film of theirs, and everyone was freaking out. And I remember being so compelled and engulfed in this video. And I found myself crying, and I looked up and I was like, why am I here? Like, if this is affecting me like this, why am I doing something that's not going to affect anyone, or that it's not going to affect me in the end? And so I was like, guys, I'm going to go. And they're like, you're not going to audition? And I was like, no, I'm going to go home and make a video. Like, I'm going to try and make someone feel the way that I feel in their daily life of like, they're having a terrible day. It's like, oh, let me watch this very dumb cooking video of this girl messing up and not knowing what she's doing, and realize, oh, life isn't that hard. Or like getting away from the mentality of everything sucks just for 5 minutes. So I went home and shot a video on my phone with like what are those things? The Olo clips, like the fish islands, which like dates when I did it.
Those are really cool though. Those are really
I know
cool.
people that still have the fish
yeah, very good.
Yeah. I actually have
They're
one.
just a lot better now.
Yeah. So I shot my first video on an iPhone with that lens and put it up. And I had only shot dance videos and put them up on YouTube. So everybody was like, I didn't know this is what your voice was like. And now people don't even know I dance because I do so many talking videos.
Right. That's really good. That's a really good story.
That was my last audition.
That's so great.
That's like a good reason to start doing videos. You
Yeah.
know? It just touches you and you just went for it. Because I feel like I've had moments like that too. And I'm like, oh man, I should just go home and do like a comedy video right now. But then dancers like, hey man, just come on, hold your horses.
I know.
Right?
Stick to dancing.
Yeah.
I mean, I got those too in the beginning, and now it's just like, oh, who cares? I'll do what I want,
Yeah.
and you'll either watch it or you won't.
Whoa. Bam. Boss. Megan, but boss, dude. Boss Tune.
Yeah, I love that. The
Batoon,
first
there
one
it
was
is.
but
Megan
boss.
Batoon.
Megan Boss
We
Tune,
found it.
man.
No, I love it. I really love that because I think that is that turning point for yourself, right? That that aha moment where it's like, oh, okay, I think I know what I want to do now.
Yeah.
And that's a really great benchmark for yourself, because I think it's great because I feel like you figured out how to make something work for you, and you didn't feel like you had to immerse yourself into something that was already there. It's like, well, I guess this is the only way to make a living by dance is by jumping into this realm. And I think because we talk to a bunch of people on our show, people who just open up all sorts of random businesses, and people who went from fashion to I want to start selling ice cream instead, those types of things. And it seems crazy because it's wait, why would you do that? That doesn't seem like the smart thing to do, because no one really does that.
Right.
But then it's those people who have that that self-awareness of this is either for me or not. And then if you realize that it's not, to not just stop there, but well, then what is it for me then? What am I good at? What am I passionate about? What is my why, as far as finding whatever the next thing is? And so I wanted to get into YouTube, right? So YouTube is great for literally being able to put up any sort of content and be whoever you want to be. Hopefully it's good enough for people to watch it, right? So for yourself, was that the turning point for you to be I want to start focusing on building my own personality and my own channel? And is that where the YouTube thing really started for you?
No, I mean, in the beginning of when I started putting videos on YouTube, it was to make myself laugh and to make other people. I remember I would show videos before I posted them to the ML crew at the time.
I'm one of her first subscribers, actually.
You are?
Yeah.
Dang, we're gonna have to plug all those in the show notes, Mike. Trying to see these videos.
I'm in there.
Yeah. And so, every time I had a video, I would come to ML with my computer, and everyone would crowd around on the on my laptop, and I would look at I have a picture. I think it's on my Instagram for a long time ago. It's you, Chemo, Pat Cruz, and 3 other people, and you're all smiling, and it's the best feeling that I had ever had to that point in time about on YouTube. And I was people, because I was these are dumb, I'm not funny, and I wasn't, I didn't know anything about comedy, I just liked laughing. And so I was let me just do this. And the fact that they liked it, I mean, enough to be nice to smile, even if it was a pity smile. Thank you.
We're being nice.
I was maybe I can keep doing this if people don't hate it. And so I just kept on doing it, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't try and program this day is what I'll upload, or this is the time, or this is the content, or I didn't have a brand. It was just, let me do whatever I want for a little bit until I figure out what I'm good at. So my beginning videos are trash. I am such a perfectionist and a stickler now that I would never let something go up that I don't fully believe in. But in the beginning, I was just I don't know, nothing matters. And so just kind of free to the wind, just doing whatever I wanted. But I feel that was the good thing, because I figured it out online. And even though trolls and hate comments, sometimes you can take something out of those and be oh, you're being mean, but if you wipe off all the meanness, what's the nugget of truth?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's really good.
Whoa, that's crazy.
So you kind of took that comedy approach. Is that what you, I mean, because you said you write, right? And did you write in school, or was that just something that you did for fun on the side?
No, I guess I never did write. Growing up, I did photography and graphic design, and that was kind of it. I love clever comedy, and so reading books or puns. We love puns. Charlie,
love puns.
Yeah, we've done so many little pun battles.
I'm gonna find it, and I'm gonna put it
bring
on
those
the show
back.
notes.
Yeah. I just love wordplay so much in comedy and dance. That's all my choreography is this is all just sign language, because I like wordplay so much. And that's why I liked this style when I first found it. I was oh my God, this is my brain in movement. It's so sick. So I just ended up really liking writing, just because I like words a lot.
Yeah. So your channel then, did you feel it kind of grew organically just by you putting up the stuff that you wanted to put up, and then people started to kind of catch on to it?
I think half that, and then half being around other people that did very similar stuff. So like when I first started, I was around Ryan Higa and Dietrich's a lot. And then coming out of that, I was on like an internet reality show, which was Ryan Higa's show called Internet Icon. And then like that got a lot of traction. And then after that, just collabing with other people that did kind of similar things, whether it was like comedy or dance or any type of YouTube personality content. And then, because that's all, I hate that that's the way that you grow the most is cross collaboration, because like I love being alone. I love being alone. But that's the way. I mean, that is the foolproof way to grow. And so I kind of had to get out of my introvert shell and be like, let's do this. And then now I'm kind of back in my shell again.
Yeah. Where do you feel like you got that sort of entrepreneurial sort of drive? Because it seems like you have like this ambition to make it. I mean, for like, lack of a better way to put it, it's like I am out here. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing out here. I thought it was dance industry, kind of, but not really. I'm going to try this YouTube stuff. I feel like, okay, in order for me to do this well, I should collaborate with other people. Because, I mean, there's no school for that. People, you don't take classes of like, here's how to become YouTube famous or how to make it in LA or whatever. There's this kind of like underlying thing or something that you kind of already have to kind of push you to be that kind of way. Did you always have that as a kid?
Yeah, I think it's either me being an Aries or half Asian or both, because like hard work is like bred in us. And as an Aries, I mean, not to bring in astrology in this, but like I've always been a leader. I've always been like very stubborn and ambitious, and like every cheerleading or dance team, like I was the captain of. So I think I always had like a knack for wanting to make things better more than other people did. Like I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like if we did something really cool, I'm like, it's good, but like it could be way better, and here's how. And I think it's also the perfectionistic mentality that I have, which is like kind of detrimental, but I think the reason why things work out, because if I didn't have that, it's like perfectionism is personal quality control for me. It's like if I wasn't a perfectionist, I would put out stuff that's bad all the time just to put something out. But like I've made so many things. I have like 10 unfinished pieces because they're not good enough to finish. And I'm like, I could work on this, or I could start something else. And then I look back and I'm like, oh, that could have been good. But I just didn't finish it because I didn't think it was worth it. I thought I could use all of this energy that I would work on like doctoring something I didn't love into something that is new that I could bring to the ground up. Yeah. So I think I've always wanted to just make things awesome. But that's sometimes they're not awesome. So please don't take that in the wrong way.
That's really good. That's really good. Do you kind of compartmentalize like the dance? Everything. Yeah. No, that's really
Emotions?
What my question
What do you want?
Yeah. No, but like, I mean, that's exactly what I'm asking, because like you dance, you choreograph, you host, you have a YouTube, show, you act. Like there's so many things that you do. And I think it can be so easy to get so scatterbrained to be like, I don't know what to focus on. You know what I mean? And so like, how do you kind of like sift through all that like noise?
This is a really good question, because that's something I've struggled with for a long time, especially because it's like I always think of it like a Donald Glover syndrome, because like he started as a comedian and then he did like a sketch comedy, and then he did stand up, and then he started doing acting and then music, and then it was just like he does everything, but he did them incrementally. Sure. And I was like, I want to do all of them at one time. So I was like Donald Glover with all of his legs and brain broken. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. And then like I couldn't do all of them. So I guess like the only thing that's really helped me is scheduling things, being like, here's the 3 things I want to do. I want to do a YouTube video a week. I want to do a podcast a week. I want to make a product line that's not just clothes. And then I also want to keep dance alive in some aspects. But I know that like I keep on getting injured and I don't know what's going on. So it's like I had to figure out the longevity of it, and the longevity of everything. Like everything kind of has an expiration date if you look at it. So it's like, oh, if my body breaks, which it has, what else am I going to do? And then so I started taking YouTube really seriously. And then it's like, oh, YouTube ad money is gone. Everyone's not participating. Views are down. You don't know what's going to happen with the internet. Like it could be gone tomorrow. Yeah. And so what's the longevity in that? Oh, you got to take your business offline. So let's start making a product line. Let's start making merch. But how do you make your merch different than everybody else? You be crazy with it. Like I'm so intensely annoying when like everyone that works on my merch team is like, okay, we're gonna do this now. It's like I'm like, I want to make this. They're like, great, we'll see it next year, because I'm like, I have to if I didn't make this, but if I did, I should have worn something I made. A bad businesswoman. So if I would have made this, I would have bought 5 different samples. I would have put them in different like wash houses. I would have printed them with different Pantone colors, which are like shades away. And then I would have worn it and washed it and danced in it and see how it fits and does before I would even say, let's print a bunch of these. Wow. Yeah. And it's annoying, but I'm happy with it. And like, everything down to the little details, like my tags are so specific, and the way that you get the package and the card inside. Like I used to do calligraphy for every single person that ordered, and my hand was breaking off. Yeah, and so it was a lot, and it always is a lot. And I think that's the issue with one of the issues I have is I always like reach too high. I'm like, I want to do this, and I started this dance series called So You Think You Can't Dance to This, and it's like you dance to like theme songs or Beethoven, like, but it's like hip hop to it.
Wow.
And it, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's so good.
Thanks. But here's the thing, Charles, is that I've only done 2 because I became too perfectionistic with it. Initially, because I also take so long to choreograph, and I was like, let me go to the studio and book 2 hours and do 2 30-second dumb pieces to like the Flintstones or Family Guy. And I go in and I did it one time, and then I went to go do it again, and then I started overthinking. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to do a concept video to this. And it's like, no. It was supposed to be me in a studio, and I always keep on trying to level up. And I think that is maybe an issue. Because now I've only done 2 of them.
Wow.
I feel that. I feel that though. When I choreograph sometimes and I make a piece and I'm like, okay, this is just for kicks and giggles. That's
kicks.
That's it. This is just for kicks and giggles. And then like 30 minutes in, you're like, hey, this is looking pretty good.
Right.
I think I should go ask my friends if they like this.
Yes.
You guys like this? If you like this, then let's make a music video. I'll sing the song. You guys will dance my choreo.
I'll make the clothes.
We'll show it to the president. And then the president will show it on TV. And then there's my big break.
After the president approves of your music video.
No, I feel that.
Good.
Dude. I feel that.
Yeah, that's tough. What do you guys do when you get too in your head about choreography? You just push through, or do you like what? What's the process?
What do you do, Charlie?
I just stop. I just stop. I said, whatever I have right now, I'm gonna record it.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm just gonna look at it. If I want to go through with adding stuff, then then my inner gut will be like, all right, I think you're serious about that. Go put more like moves on it. But then usually after I record it and I like just stare at it for a while, I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. I'll just leave it like this, and then I'll just move on to something else. Because as artists, inspiration leaves us so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, it's like in the ear, out the other within a matter of like days or hours. So yeah, that's what I do.
Minutes sometimes for me.
I just freaking stop it. I'm like, this was amazing for what it was for the past 30 minutes, and then I just record it just so that it lives somewhere, not in my head. Because if it lives in my head, then I spend like nights just thinking, and what if I did a jumping move here?
Yes, I mean that's what I do.
Yeah. I feel you. So I just record it. That's what do you do, Ben?
I'm the same. I feel like before I would be like you, where I would just be so in my head about like everything needs to be like really good.
Yeah.
Like every move needs to be really good. And and if I didn't like it, then I would just shelve it or just trash it.
Sure.
But I think nowadays, I think myself, I've definitely evolved as a dancer and like a choreographer or whatever. I've learned to be okay with my process of not being perfect. Ooh. And like letting it breathe for a little bit, like I'll come to a studio session and choreograph, and then if I'm sitting there for like an hour and like nothing's happening, and then it's frustrating, and I'll take a break and I'll just sit and like scroll through Instagram for a little bit and then get back to it, and then just be like, you know what, I think I'm done today. And then there's tomorrow. I'll come back tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have some new energy, and a lot of times it does help to kind of revisit something. So I think for me, I kind of like let something breathe for a little bit and then revisit. And then, sometimes some pieces are like, you know what, this is just a classroom piece. I'll teach it, and then, it'll just live there. Or if it's something that I'm like, oh, I see something bigger out of this, like let's shoot a video or whatever to it,
Right.
So I kind of just let each thing kind of be its own thing and not put too much pressure thinking that everything needs to be this, huge piece.
Production.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That would be good to learn that lesson one day.
Yeah.
No, but see, I love what you're saying though. Like, I think perfectionism is something that so many people struggle with.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. I think being a perfectionist is a good thing, but in some ways it can be unhealthy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And I think because we live in this society, especially with social media and internet, what it is, people forget you like that. Like, you'll put out a dope, amazing thing. It may be hot and relevant for maybe 2 weeks. And then it's like, wait, who are you talking about? Oh, that person, like, well, they haven't done anything in like 2 weeks. Like,
I
they're
know
totally irrelevant,
Yeah. 2 weeks.
Yeah. And so that's that, the age that we live in. And then there's so much emphasis on like everything needs to be amazing. So we can put so much pressure on ourselves where people can crack under stuff like that. I mean, we don't need to get into all the stuff with like, celebrities and stuff and all the stories that we hear of, like, unfortunately people like commit suicide and stuff like that. Like, that's the extreme of stuff. But I think like, that's why shows like even like this, us having sit down conversations with people who kind of live in that space and, really just like, unpacking like what is it like for you when you're feeling uninspired, or what is it like for you when you're discouraged or you're feeling insecure. Like, that's all real like human stuff that we all struggle with. And for our listening audience, so many of our listeners are fans, like kids that are trying to do like what they think we're doing. Like, how do I open up a dojo? How do I start a YouTube channel? I want to start doing ad campaigns. Like, what are the steps for me to do that?
Right.
And obviously it takes a lot of time and hard work. But I think what you're talking about, what I want to touch on in terms of being like a perfectionist, it's attention to the detail, because I think you're not a perfectionist. And from what I'm getting from you, I don't think you're a perfectionist because you're simply just trying to be racking up the views and the numbers. No. Like, you're being a perfectionist because you care about what you want to say.
Yes.
And like, if this is not a accurate representation of who you are and authentic to Megan Batoon, you don't want to put that out there. I think that's a different kind of perfectionist, because I think that's more, I would call that integrity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you wanting to be honest. And what I see, through all the clutter of social media and all that, I feel like people really gravitate consistently towards authenticity.
Yeah.
You can get a viral video off of being stupid, or you get lucky one time and then just do something funny or crazy and then it goes viral.
Yeah.
But then it's like, what's next? What else are you going to put out that's going to do the same thing? And if it was just luck, then that gets lost in all the noise and it's gone, But then if it's something that I like this person's messaging, it's consistent every time. So when you're somebody who's known for being consistent, even if it's kind of a lot of, or like, a good amount of time, it's spread out between your this and your next thing, people are looking forward to that next thing. That once that next thing drops, they know what to expect. Like, oh, this is going to be good, because I'm going to be able to connect to the messaging.
Right.
So, can you kind of walk us through, I guess the way that you approach your perfectionist mentality with, whether it be merchandising, whether it be your videos to choreography and all that, like, walk us through some of that.
Yeah, I guess, the fact that you said it's integrity more than perfectionism, I've never really thought that, but I am so on board. Like, that's exactly what it is. Because the thing I say about everything, like anything that I make or anything that anyone else should make, I think, is like, do you like it? Would you want to see it? Would you want to dance it? Would you laugh at the joke you're telling? So if you're not doing it for you, who are you doing it for and why? If you're doing it for the views, that doesn't matter. It's not going to make you feel good. And if it is for the views, it's going to make you feel very bad if you do it for the views and then don't get them.
Right.
It's like when people do go viral and then they try and recreate that formula that was just like, whether it was like insanity or just right time, right place kind of thing, you're never going to get it if you're chasing something that is not coming from who you are. Because like, if you're chasing something that you don't know about, you're never gonna get it, because you're just kind of, it's elusive. It's like inspiration. You gotta like wait for it to just come to you. So if it's if you're generating it, if you're generating the ideas, if you're generating the feeling, then you don't have to have a script. You don't have to have a choreography piece. It's just like this, you're talking. And that's why I like YouTube now, because I mean, now everything is good and bad if you look for it. But so the good parts of YouTube, people are getting more candid. They're getting more authentic because that's people now are so self-aware. People on YouTube and people watching it, that they're like, oh, we know when you're faking it. We know that when you're telling us about a brand that you've never used before. We know this. So why don't you just be very real with your audience? Like the video I'm putting out today, I went into the studio and I was like, hey, I kind of freestyled a little bit and I think I like it, so I'm going to make a piece. I haven't finished it. I don't know if it's going to be good. I was like, guys, I'm going to do this. I'm going to drop it before 2018 is over. So if I don't, you can bully me. So it's like, which is probably the worst way to go about being held accountable for. But it's like, I'm being honest with them. And it's like, I have choreo block within the video. And I'm like, I don't even know if this is good enough. Now you know the song. Because when I put it in a dance piece in the past, I was like, I wouldn't tell anyone what the song was. I would like tease it. I'd be like, oh, it's so special. And it's like, no one cares. Just show it to us. And so now I'm letting people into the process and being like, it's never perfect. I hate all of these moves. I'm going to change all of them tomorrow. So it's like now people want that because we're in a world that everything is contrived and everything is packaged for us. We have targeted ads specifically for you. Like you talk about a luggage one day and the next day you're getting served ads for the exact luggage you were talking about. Dude, so it's crazy. Like, it's weird. Everyone's listening. Where's my phone? I'm going to tell the NSA. Who is it? I'm gonna tell them something right now. I told you that.
I do feel that like our phones are always listening. I definitely had a conversation with somebody the other day, and I mentioned something, and I saw an ad on Facebook pop up, and I know I didn't search it. I just talked about it.
I'm gonna go like this.
So if you're listening, stop it.
I'm gonna tell my phone right now about I need mascara. I need a good mascara. I'll get back to you and tell you if I get ads for mascara.
Dude, whoa, that happens to me too. I'll be like talking on the phone, I'm like, you know, I love Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon's show is so dope. And then
he calls you.
Next thing you know, you want to see this Jimmy Fallon clip where he's talking to John Cena? I'm like, yeah, I want to.
Thank you.
How did you know?
It's so funny. I hate that. But yeah, everything's contrived. So just be real in a world of everything trying to be packaged for you.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I like that. Integrity. I feel like that runs with the same word of intention too.
Yeah.
I feel like you're very intentional with like your products, if you will. Like when I would see like the notebook, you know, or the catchphrases on it and like how it's written in different typography and calligraphy, I'm like, oh, you know, that looks very intentional. It doesn't look like she's just trying to sell a shitload of these.
Right.
It just looks like if you get this, then this is probably going to be one of its only kind. So
right.
I feel like intention is something that really follows through with your perfectionism, you Aries.
Yeah. What are you? What are your signs? Do you know?
I'm a Libra.
I don't know what that means.
I mean, that means I'm an inanimate object. I weigh things, and I always try to keep balance.
Oh, and does that ring true for you?
It does ring true for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I'm a Cancer.
And what does that mean?
I'm an introvert.
And does that ring true?
Yes.
That's why he's behind the camera.
Very much so for Mike Fallon as he talks from behind the camera. It's good.
Do you know what your sign is?
I'm a Leo.
Oh, so you're fiery.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know.
I mean, look at you, man.
Dude,
you got
look
some
at that.
fire.
You're on fire right
Am I
now.
on fire right now? Dang
Where's
it.
the smoke detector?
You know, so I feel like I understand, you know, astrology and all that. I don't agree all the time. And I feel like everybody can be a little bit of everything, right? You know?
Yeah, those are called cusps.
They're just guidelines.
Totally.
Astrology is guidelines.
Totally.
They're just stars in the sky. That's all they are.
But I will say the
want.
fiery side of me is I am a passionate person.
Yes, that's a Leo.
So yeah, I get passionate about the things and the people that I care about. So
Yeah.
I will identify with that. I don't know about fire as in like angry all the time. I feel like I'm an angry guy. I don't know if that's what it refers
Man,
to.
you're wearing red right now.
Sorry guys, I apologize if I'm offending anybody.
Like, let's be real. We're talking about true intention here. Let's talk about
All
your
right, guys,
anger.
I am fiery.
Fire.
Fiery.
I'm joking.
This is fun. We digress. This is good.
This is fun.
No, I want to go back to okay, you're doing a ton of stuff, but it's Megan Batoon. I don't imagine you do everything by yourself.
No.
Yeah. So do you keep a team of people around you?
I have 2 assistants who are very helpful. In the end, like, I am the one that's picking things and designing things, and editing my videos. So I couldn't do it alone, but it definitely, like, I don't have a big, like, team. I don't have, like, writers or camera crew or anybody doing really anything that I couldn't do by myself, because I end up tweaking anything anyway because of the perfectionism.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I mean, like, help is so important. It took me so long to even get to the point where I thought it was okay to ask for help, which is horrific. I mean, even with, like, assistance or therapy or just, like, I need a friend to talk to, like, I always thought I was putting people out, and I was always like, I'm gonna push through, like, I can do it, I'm strong, I'm independent. Like, I never asked for help. Even, like, moving, I remember when I was living with Amanda, I would move, like, a dresser, and then she was like, do you need help? And I was like, no. And, like, I did need help.
Just carrying a giant dresser by myself.
I
I'm good.
I was
good.
like
I got
pulling
it.
my back just to be
Yeah.
like, I did this alone. But,
Yeah.
like, it's not about going. What's that saying? It's like, if you want to go far,
Go
no, if
alone.
you want to go fast, go alone. If
Yeah.
you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
Yes, because you're gonna burn out, and I burned out so much before I started asking for help because I was like, I don't want any help, and it was probably like some, like, egotistical, like, I need all the credit because, like, I can do it, but who cares who gets the credit in the end? Like, are you making something that you like? Are you making something that's good? Then it doesn't matter. It's 2 heads are always better than 1. Collaboration is so important. But here's my thing about collaboration, though. I always have, like, 2 sides to everything. Collaboration is only good if you are on the same mentality with the people you're collaborating with.
Yeah.
Because in the YouTube community, people collaborate just for views, and I'm not about that. I don't collaborate with people if I don't know you. Let's get a cup of coffee. Let's get lunch. Let me get to know, like, what your fears are. What do you think about artistic, like, the process of it? Are we on the same page? Because if you're out here trying to just, like, get a paycheck, like, I'm not interested. So we got to be on the same page with all of it and, like, mesh comedically, or else it's going to be a bad video.
Totally.
I'm going to hate it. Everybody watching it is going to hate it. And I'm not going to like our interactions afterwards if I just think you're, like, using me for something.
Totally.
Yeah. I think that's the downside to collaboration, is, like, be aware of who's around you.
Yeah. You said you're an introvert.
Yeah.
So as an introvert, I know that probably more so means that you gain your energy and you recharge by being alone. So in the workspace where you just said, like, you realize you do need help and you can't do everything by yourself, otherwise you'll burn out. So as an introvert, how do you get yourself to do things like networking? Because that's, we all hate that term and it's such an industry thing.
It is.
But yeah, like, it's kind of a part of the nature of what we do within this. I don't even want to say entertainment, because I feel like that concept of networking it exists in every field, right?
Yeah.
Meeting other people to potentially, not just thinking of it as, like, I need to look at you as a potential dollar sign,
Yeah.
but more of, like, like, even to creatively, like, just try something new for yourself and whatnot. So as an introvert, how do you get yourself to get out of your personal isolated space to be out there?
That took a long time for me to be okay with, because my manager would be like, you have to do this if you want a job. And I was like, I'd rather be broke. Like, I'm fine. But then I was like, okay, I'll do this. And I remember he told me, he was like, if you hustle for, like, 3 years by networking at every single event, you won't have to go anymore. And I was like, okay, you promise? 3 years on the dot? Like, let's make a contract. But I do not want to go to these things.
Yeah.
And so I did it for a little bit. But the thing that I realized that helps me a lot is having people around you that you wouldn't mind going to them with. So one of my assistants is one of my best friends too. And so we go to all of the events together. So even if the event is a dud, or, like, the people there are so pretentious, I'm like, we're having a good time waiting by the hors d'oeuvres, like, drinking free drinks. Like, we're having a fine time. So I think it's going with either the intention of, it depends on who you are. Like, if you're like, I'm a business person, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make a good impression, and I'm going to leave and I'm going to have a job afterwards, awesome, you don't have a problem with it. But if you are like, me or Mike and don't want to talk to people ever, then like bring someone that you do want to talk to a place that you don't want to talk to people. And then it's easier to talk to people, new people, if you're already good with, like, if it's like us going to a place that we didn't know anybody, we'd be fine because we would have each other, and then we could be like, oh yeah, this dude snores, and he's like, oh my god, I snore too, and then you can connect. It's all about connecting with people, and that's the part that I have trouble with in the beginning, because I'm like, everyone's giving me their best like business face, and like, I don't care about what you've done. Like, how do you feel inside? Do you feel good today, or like do you want to cry? Because same. Like, let me know, we can connect. So I think it's just having the right people around, or just like going with the intention of doing the job. Like, networking is a job. So if you think, oh, I'm on the clock for an hour and then I can go home and watch Netflix, clock in.
I love it, and that makes so much sense. I mean, we do pretty much everything together. Like, I think we're all like kind of joined at the hip with Kinjaz, but
I definitely use you guys at my disposal. It's like, hey, we want Kinjaz to do something. I'm like, we would love to. Here's Ben. Ben is a great guy. He's gonna talk. I'm gonna go get another drink.
I mean, I think that's the great thing about a team. Everybody wears a different hat, and everybody brings a different strength to the table. That you have your talkers, and then you have your creatives, you have your, behind the scenes people who just kind of twist all the knobs and make sure everything is tightened up, right? And I think that's what's great about a team.
That's so cool. I would love to see your process all in one room. You know what? This is like such a tangent, and I'm sorry to like divert. But when we were talking about having all these half pieces and we would just record them, how cool would it be if there was like a vault of all of our pieces, like everyone in the community, of like our pieces that we never finished, or like throwaway pieces, and like people, I don't know, this is a good business idea, somebody can take it. It'll be called The Vault, Kinjaz Vault, and then it's like not a subscription service.
Vault, but then it's only VAU. We didn't even finish the word. The Vault.
That's good.
The Vault.
The Vault.
That's really good.
That's so funny. I would love
that's
to
really
watch
good,
like
Charlie.
someone's unfinished piece.
I think that's we all would love to see other people's pieces, but then we don't want that stuff on the
Oh yeah, that's so true. Oh yeah, I would hate that.
That's what's crazy though, because I have seen unfinished pieces of people that, like, friends of mine that feel comfortable showing me, because we're homies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why didn't you put this out?
I know.
This is really good. You know. So
we're our own worst critic, but that'd be sick. I would watch everyone's video in the vault.
In the vault. No tea.
In the vault. Hosted by Megan Batoon. And there's only three videos, and we hype up these people.
Wait,
the first one comes from Sean Evaristo.
Yeah.
Like, he always finished his pieces.
Or does he?
And they have to like kind of give up after they do it. Like, do half of it. They have to like, and just kind of give up.
And then it cuts, and then it's the concept video.
More proof.
Oh my gosh, that'd be really cool. Wait, here's another idea. It's the vault, so we show the piece. So they say, oh, Sean only finished half of his piece, and then we play that video from like 2008, and then I go to Sean, and then I go, okay, finish it, and then he finishes it.
That's really
right
good.
In there.
That's yeah. He stops doing whatever he's doing. He's like
really
meditating.
good.
He's like, okay, I'm gonna go do it now. Like, yes.
We're onto something, you guys.
That's
We're
so
onto
sick.
something.
I'd watch that.
I would watch that
Hell yeah.
so hard.
Subscribe. No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. Inspiration. Like, what do you do when you're not inspired, or when you feel like you have nothing to kind of like put something out with? What do you do?
That I would love to hear everyone's answer on this, because it's never the same. Like, if it depends on what I'm uninspired by too. Like, if I'm uninspired to make a YouTube video, I'll push it another day until I feel better, because that's all energy. If I'm uninspired in dance, like, I'll still try, or I'll watch like a video that like really inspired me in the past and go like, that was really interesting how they did that. Let me see if I can do something with this song that makes it interesting. But if inspiration is not there, you kind of have to like surrender to it for a little bit. But with writing, that's the other thing. Like, if it's writing or training, like if you're working out or something like that and you're uninspired to work out, like, just do it. It doesn't really take inspiration. It takes motivation, right? So like, if you're uninspired to do something that's kind of like mechanics, like a writing or working out, I would say like developing the muscle really helps. If you're like, just put the timer on for like 30 minutes and either work out or write just for that. And if like the stuff that you're doing isn't like your best work, it doesn't really matter, because that's training, right? So when inspiration comes, then you'll already have that muscle where it's just going to elevate exactly what you've already done when you had nothing.
Wow.
But for dance and YouTube, I don't know. The two things that I actually
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I wouldn't. I get the workout analogy because it doesn't take inspiration to work out. You just go in machine mode and you just do it.
Yeah.
But when you said writing, that's for me. For someone who doesn't write, that's interesting that you put those in the same category as that's just a muscle to exercise and it requires zero inspiration.
Well, I think you're not gonna. Maybe you do come out with something really great, but I think writing is just like the act of getting your thoughts onto a paper. So even if you're not like trying to write a sketch or a script, you're like it's a diary. Like how do you feel today? Write 3 pages of how you're feeling, or just like all of our mind thoughts. All of our thoughts.
Megan's mind thoughts.
Just like, open up a Word doc and like put a timer on for 3 minutes and then just like write everything and be like, oh, that beard is too long. Oh, it's kind of cold in here. And just like write your thoughts.
Interesting.
And that way it's like it is kind of a muscle. I mean, your fingers are moving.
Right. It's like,
Metatarsal muscles.
Metatarsal
journaling?
muscles. Yeah, I was gonna ask, do you journal and diary and all that stuff pretty regularly?
Sometimes. I wish I did more.
Okay.
I wish I was more regimented. Every now and then I'll be like, I'm gonna be an awesome person. Then I'll start meditating and journaling and eating right. And then like 3 days later, I'm like, yo, but fries? They're really good.
Fries are a part of my daily routine, dude.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I'm gonna text you next week and say, have you journaled?
Have you? Oh, please do.
And then I'll text you next week. Have you French fried?
Right now I am.
As we speak.
Did Mike Fowl text you?
That's good.
Get that guy, dude. Let's go get some,
Let's go get some fries.
some fries, dude.
Doesn't matter.
And
Do you have like sort of like routines, like daily routines, whether it's meditating, journaling, working out? Like what do you do like on the daily for yourself?
I try really hard to meditate, but sometimes I wake up too late, and the only time I have in the daytime is before I work out. So I do either Pilates or a workout at home every morning at 7:30, and then I have an office space now, so I have to go into the office from 10 to 6, and then after that, I'm so tired that like I don't have energy for anything. Dude, yeah, like a real person job.
Wow.
Like it's weird.
You?
Wait, what?
I know, right? Well, it's like now that I have employees, it's like I got to set a good example, right? Like the fact that I'm the boss, I have to like act like one, which is crazy. And like we have a dress code, like that's why I'm wearing
dress
Hold on.
because here's the thing. I read an article that was like if you dress a little bit like more elevated, you're more inclined to be more productive. And if you work at home, if you keep your shoes on, which is like a cardinal sin for an Asian household.
Right.
But like,
Not put your shoes on in my house.
But yeah, like if you keep your shoes on and don't wear like sweatpants or anything like that if you work from home, because that was what I was battling with. And then I felt so uninspired, so I was like, I'm gonna get an office space. And so I got the office space, and now I'm like, now I just feel like too much like a work person, and I want to feel a little bit more free flowing. So the balance thing is so difficult for me. I can't like figure it out.
Have you tried wearing sweats in your office space?
I only on days where I forget that I left something there and I have to go get it. But no, because I like gave the girls a dress code, so like I've got to uphold that even more than they do, you know, because I'm the one that put it in place.
Well, can we talk about that? You have an office space. Okay, is it like a WeWork or like
No,
what
it's
is
like
that?
it's an Eagle Rock. It's it sounds ridiculous, but it's like whatever. It's floor to ceiling windows, and it's a corner office that has 3 different offices. So I've got a small one, and my girls Emily and Irene share one office, and then we have like a big open space that's where I shoot all my videos.
Got it.
Yeah, and so like every day it's a new thing. I mean, like we're always working on either a podcast episode, or I'm editing a YouTube video, or pre-production, or producing a new YouTube video, or we're filming something. We're always making something, or it's like the merch takes up so much time.
Yeah.
And so it's like we're designing, we're going to the wash house, we're feeling things, we're testing it out.
Yep.
We're like designing the tags for something, we're designing new designs for something else. It's always very intense. And then also like with all the administrative stuff, like what's going, like if I'm going to speak at this thing, or I'm going to teach a class there, or they want me to do a brand deal for this, it's like we're always ideating, we're always scheduling. It's very much a job.
For sure. You seem to be very schedule oriented.
Yeah.
Like you live off of like a calendar.
Yeah, that's why I did that thing today in the YouTube video. I was like, you guys, like I gotta put up a piece before 2018. And now and that's the only way I finish things, if I have a deadline. It's horrible.
Makes a lot of sense. Do you have a name for your office?
Well, my company's name is Megan a la Mode Incorporated, which is like with ice cream.
I love it.
Is that French?
But you dropped a video recently, like giving a tour and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I did.
I saw it. I'm gonna link to it in the show notes so everybody can see.
Yeah, you guys should come by one time. It's,
I'm down.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's
We got
really
the
fun.
invite. Oh,
Yeah, come.
So it's an ice cream delicacy?
That's
Is that
right.
what- it's
Yeah,
an ice
we
cream?
should have ice cream. You know how Urban Outfitters has those like cookie sandwiches sometimes,
Yeah.
the cool ones. Maybe I should have that at
You
our
totally
office.
I don't think anyone have one before.
Well, Megan, I think what's really dope is you have a lot of young girls that look up to you, and I think that's really dope. And I think you're a great role model. So for that, like for your younger audience, these girls who are looking up to you, with everything that you've experienced from. You talked about, getting into an industry, being like, whole body consciousness and all this other stuff. And yeah, we live in the internet doesn't help at all. You know what I mean? Like we glorify the quote unquote beautiful image, the Hollywood image. What are your thoughts towards, what sort of messaging that you put out to your, a following audience?
Yeah, I mean, aside from, are we speaking like just with young girls?
Or just women in general. I mean, like
Yeah.
you have, tons of people are looking up to you. I mean, that's just kind of what it is. Whether you like it or not, that's what's happening, right? So,
Right.
yeah, what sort of like messaging would you kind of put out for yourself for that?
Yeah, for the body positivity part, like that, I have a little bit of trouble with that because I get a lot of questions, and like I've spoken a lot of panels on it, and it's such a hot topic right now because it is such an like volatile space. But I think that the way that I think about it is body positivity is a verb. Like it's not something that you just understand. It's not a tangible thing, right? Like, and it fluctuates every single day. Like some days I'm like, wow, I feel great about myself. And other days I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to leave because people are going to look at me and I feel bad for their eyes. Like it's so much a mentality thing. And some days are going to be bad for sure. But it would be insane to think every day is going to be good, whether it's with your art or your work or your body. It doesn't matter. You're always going to fluctuate how you feel about it. And I think it doesn't matter what size you are, as long as you know that like our bodies are a vessel, really. Like we are what we put into them also. So if you're like putting in French fries like I do every day, of course you're going to feel bad from the inside out. So it's like, take care of your body and also be nice to it, even if you don't feel great about it today. Like today I woke up and I was like, wow, this sucks. But then I was like, thanks for being here. Like I can at least dance now because I've been so injured. Like you don't know what you have until it's gone. And when I was so injured and like all these people are making all these pieces and going to classes and like getting better, it's like, God dang it. Like now I'm so far behind because my body's not being nice to me, but I was also not being nice to my body. I wasn't stretching. I wasn't eating right. I was saying bad things about it all the time. So I guess in the end, it's like, just know that it's okay not to love your body, as long as you know that loving your body is the action that will bring back the action. Action takes action. If you're going to love your body, it's going to take you loving your body.
Yeah, it's really good. Would you say you are living your dream right now?
Ooh. The blanket answer, yes. I think everything could always be better or done in a better way or done in a grander way. But like given my resources and what I've grown up with, like where I'm at right now is where I am. So that's where I have to be, and that's where I should be, and that's the only time I've lived in the present. Like I'm not very good at like meditating and living in the now, because I'm always like, yeah, but what about like my 4 o'clock meeting? It's like, but like my career, like I've worked as hard as I have to be where I'm at right now. Yeah. I've gotten what I have because I've worked for it, or because I've been around people that we have helped each other to be here now. So it's like, this is the dream I can live because I've lived it up until being here. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's like kind of convoluted,
No,
but it's like,
good.
I would say yes. Anywhere I am, I will always say yes.
Yeah. So with that, how would you define success?
I think it's just if you're happy with what you're making. And if it's, but that's like such a creative answer. Like, I don't know, for people that like work on Wall Street or like, are you happy with what you're doing, I guess? Are you happy with what you're producing, regardless if it's choreography or an expense report? Like, do you like it? Did you do a good job? Did you try your hardest? Could it be any better? If you think it's perfect, then you've done your job.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I love asking that question because I really feel that the answer to that question is very subjective. Because like you said, if I'm an artist, I'm going to have this kind of an answer. If I'm a dude on Wall Street, my answer is going to be very different. But I think it's important to know your definition of success for yourself, because only you live your life. You're not going to live in someone else's life. Someone else is not going to be able to live your life. And I think, you know, our parents, like we talk about coming from Asian parents and whatnot, and you know, we kind of have that sort of, you know, in order to be successful, you go to college, you get a good job, you make a ton of money, you buy a house, you get your family and whatever, that's success. And, you know, we all hear stories about people that like get all those things and are very unhappy with themselves, right? Unhappy with life. So I love what you said about like, are you happy? You know, because money doesn't buy happiness.
No.
Things, fame, followers don't buy happiness. All of it's very fleeting. All of it's like super temporary. So thank you for sharing that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
What's next? What's going on? What's new and current and happening in the world of Megan Batoon?
I'm just trying to do everything that I'm doing but better. Like, so with the YouTube videos, like now I color my videos, which is like it's dumb.
It's hard.
But I like it. Yeah.
It's
I mean,
hard.
I'm not in color grade. I'm like, I don't have time for that. Or speed grade. But like I color on Premiere, but it's like even that just like elevates it a little bit. Like, so I guess I'm going to say this in a weird way, but it's the same mentality I have now. It's like I finish a project and then I look at it and go, what one thing can I do to make it even better? And then it was coloring my videos and I was like, great, now I'm going to start doing that. And then it's the same thing. I started doing this now for the holiday season. When I go out to eat, like I'll tip 20% and then right before I leave, I add $1 more. Cause like $1 more, right? It's not that much to us, but to a server, like anybody that's come from a serving background, that's everything. Like it means so much. And so it's the same mentality of like adding one more something to make it better. So like with my merch, it's like I want to do everything that I've already done, but like one more. So like one more what? It could be like a tangible thing. Maybe it's phone cases next time, or maybe it's putting something through another wash that makes it even softer. Just one more thing to elevate everything that you're doing. So I think, yeah, with like my podcast, I have a podcast that you guys are going to be on. Yeah, so the podcast is growing and hopefully that's going to have one more elevated thing on top of it. The YouTube video, every single week it comes out. And then, I mean, other than that, there's like the main things. And then I really do want to start dancing now that I'm not injured anymore. But I feel like I have like a long way to come. But that's okay. You got to start somewhere. Again.
It's a lot. You're doing a lot.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot. That's why your voice is all raspy, because you're doing too much.
I am doing too much.
No, but it's good though. And I think that's something that I love it when people, again, because I think having this conversation with you, and again, this is really why we do the podcast, to have the conversations that we want to have with the people that we feel like are just doing good things and you know, influential in you know, their own lanes and stuff. But just having this conversation with you, I think I see like way deeper into the intentionality behind everything that you do, and even the work that you put in to like kind of, you know, break your back in so many ways for the
literally
things that,
also.
Yeah. Like it's so cool to see that.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you for sharing all that. But we want to get into a lightning round with you.
I'm ready.
That's cool. We're gonna fire off some questions.
Oh my gosh.
Off the top of your head, you just go. You can elaborate if you want, but you know, try to
Okay,
lightning round it.
As
all right.
succinct as possible.
So in 3, 2, 1, what is your hidden talent?
Oh, I can move one eye at a time.
No
What?
freaking way.
Yeah, do you want me
Prove
to
it.
to you or
You-
to the camera?
I want to see it.
Okay, here we go. So watch, it's my
Oh, wait, I've seen this. Okay,
isolation. Okay.
Isolation.
Yeah, check this out.
Whoa,
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Okay, now show the camera.
Okay. Oh my god. Where's the camera? I can't see anything. Here.
That little GoPro.
Okay, here, ready?
We're gonna have to punch in on that
Wow.
one.
No, I'm gonna punch in for sure.
That's amazing.
That's wild.
Ow. That hurts my.
I gotta
I'm
choreograph that
thinking
into
crying.
something.
Just look-
Isolation. That's really good.
Dang, to go along with that, last movie or TV show or that made you cry.
Ooh, that made me cry.
Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, probably like the intro of Chopped. They're so happy to be there.
Oh man.
Favorite ice cream store.
Drips and swirls.
What?
Oh, is that David
So's?
So's?
Well, yeah.
Shout out
He's
David,
like
yeah.
bringing it to another place, but oh my god, it's so good.
Sick.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one talent to be amazing at, what would it be?
Whoa. Like one talent that I have or one talent that I don't have?
Whatever.
Ooh, maybe singing. I cannot sing.
Wow.
I would love to be able to do that.
Got it. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Pass.
Favorite YouTube video that you've made.
Oh gosh, probably my choreography to Bo Burnham's "Are You Happy," which is like a comedy song, but I loved it.
Wow.
I loved it. Yeah, it didn't
Dope.
do well, but our favorite ones never do
matter. It
well.
doesn't
It's a
matter
passion
if it
piece.
If you were swimming in a lake of vomit
Okay.
and someone threw a piece of crap at your face, would you duck?
Oh yeah.
Did you write this down?
I did write this down. This is a great question. Someone asked me this question, and I have to be like, wait, whoa, hold
Yeah.
on. Let me think about this. There's a lot at stake here right now.
I for sure would. Would you?
What did you answer your friend?
I think I said I would duck.
Yeah, because you don't remember it's vomit when you have crap thrown at you.
Yeah, like you're swimming in it. It's already there. It's like, oh shoot. Okay. So I mean,
I
it's a
wouldn't-
lose-lose.
I
but
wouldn't duck.
You
You
wouldn't.
wouldn't duck.
I
You would
wouldn't
take.
duck. I would get hit by it and then wash my face with the vomit river.
Then you
because-
just double
That
whammied
sounds
yourself.
worse.
That sounds way worse.
Well, you know, when you're already in it, you gotta accept it. Am I right?
Hey.
Come
And
on.
make it worse.
That's life philosophy.
Come on,
right
everybody.
there.
You were talking about Wong Fu earlier. Favorite Wong Fu video.
Oh, The Last. That's
yeah,
the one
that's
I was
mine too,
watching.
actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it. I
Good
knew
one.
it.
favorite Filipino delicacy.
Oh, pork adobo.
Ah, the adobo.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Oh, knowing how people really feel all the time.
Whoa, that's
Whoa,
a dangerous
wow.
one.
Yeah,
That
maybe
is
not. I
dangerous.
take it back. Teleportation.
Hey,
That's mine. I always say teleportation.
you're just stuck in your
You
room.
can't
just
beat
introverted.
teleportation.
It's like you don't mean that. I can see it.
Favorite
You
holiday,
teleport
Thanksgiving or
out.
Christmas? And what
Christmas.
food?
What Christmas food? What's a
Yeah.
Christmas food?
Anything that you get at
peppermint.
Christmas.
Roast beef. If we're talking
Roast beast.
in Grinch terms.
Pork adobo.
I was just watching The Grinch the other day.
I love it.
I love it too.
I love the
so
Grinch.
good. What's your guilty pleasure?
Oh, a guilty pleasure? I don't think any of my pleasures are guilty. What was yours?
I don't know. I mean, French fries can be a guilty pleasure. Or
I'm proud of
or
that
like
one.
listening to like In Sync albums every day
that's
can
a
be a
proud
guilty
Oh,
pleasure. I don't know.
Oh, maybe I like the Hamilton soundtrack a lot.
Okay.
Is that a guilty pleasure? It's just good
I don't
music.
know, that's
I
just
think
an
that's pretty-
interest.
you
sound really good.
It's like an interest, really.
That's an interest.
It's an interest, I think. I'm
Dang it, I had one, but I got distracted by
Christmas
that one.
music in November, yay or nay?
Yay all the way.
Hell
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all about
yeah.
Christmas
You hear
music
that,
all
Darren
year
Wong?
long.
Darren Wong calling you out, Darren Wong. He wouldn't let us play Christmas music at rehearsal. He's like, stop playing that. It's
Stop
not
playing
time."
it. I mean, granted, it was March, but whatever.
I love the Christmas music. Worst fear?
Worst fear?
Whoa.
Not being liked, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
bad.
Favorite movie of all time?
The Truman Show or Chicago
Oh,
or Interstellar.
oh, that's a new one.
Yeah.
Name a book that changed your life.
Oh, 30 Before 30 by Marina Shifrin.
That's a movie.
What?
I'm just kidding.
I was like, let me see it.
13 going on 30.
That shows what Charlie watches.
That's not a movie.
Complete the sentence. I wish I could
Sing.
Sing. There it is. So easy. So easy. Okay, we have this thing where we talk about less of, more of. So something that you would want people in the world to do less of, and then also more of.
Do they have to be related?
No.
I think I would like people to do less of what they think other people want and more of what they actually want.
Boom.
That goes right into
That's
each
real
other.
good,
Man,
dude.
that's really
I wish I had
good.
a hammer. Boom.
Wants to be a judge
Yeah. Order.
or a construction worker.
Or Bob the Builder, which is in the same line.
Yeah.
I just wanted to.
Charlie just
it's
did
always
jury
a
duty.
competition with you, Megan.
Charlie did jury duty, so he's like in judge mode right now.
Your Honor, I did not. I did not, Your Honor. I plead the fifth.
The fifth. That's good. Your golden rule. What is Megan Batoon's life mantra, golden rule that you live by?
I guess it kind of goes along with my less of more of and kind of everything I talked about while here, but make what you want to see. I think that's the easiest, best kind of like litmus test of what you're doing and why you're doing it. Make sure you believe in it, I guess. That's like the main thing.
Wow.
It's really good. It's really good. Megan, thanks for chatting
Thank
it up
you.
with us. It's been really fun. Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably one of the first conversations that I've really kind of had with you. And I
Yeah.
think I was telling Mike and Charlie earlier, with some of my favorite couch conversations have been with the people that I don't really know too well, because I have actual questions that I'm like, hey, I don't know this about you,
Right.
and I want to know. And I think one of the things that I really see and appreciate about you, and I see the work, that you're doing a ton of stuff, and most of the people that we bring onto the show are people who are doing stuff, right? Whatever that is. But I really am inspired, and I dig the why, and I think that's something that I always look for, the why in everything, why do anything, why think anything or believe anything. And I just see the integrity of and honesty of what you put out there. And I appreciate your vulnerability too, because I think it's really hard to be vulnerable, period. But then to be vulnerable publicly is really hard, because even what you said about fear of not being liked, I think that's everybody's fear.
Right.
That's not oh, what? You care about that? It's well, who doesn't?
But that's the thing, who's going to say it? I'll
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
We're all thinking it.
And I think that's what's really important, because whether it's something that we're trying to put out for sending out a message or not, I think it's so important, especially right now in our current climate, and just things have kids getting bullied to, depression, anxiety, to the extreme of suicide and all that. So much of that comes from things like this that aren't talked about.
Yeah.
People being afraid to talk about, their insecurities. People don't think that it's okay to say hey, I don't feel loved, I don't feel wanted, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
And I see that in your own, from this conversation to the messaging that you put out, even in your work. I really appreciate it. I think it's really cool, and I think it's really needed. And you're a great role model.
Thank you.
So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, Megan.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
appreciate
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
The pun princess, Megan Batoon.
The
makes
puncess.
her
The puns.
The
The
puncess.
puncess.
Ben is actually really good at puns.
I try.
should do a pun battle next time.
I'm
Whoa.
I've been called the king of the remix. So I'll take something and then I'll just remix it somehow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But I'm not always successful.
Someone told you that you're the king of the remix?
Yeah, Nick No from The Banger. Shout out Nick No. He says you're the king of the remix. Not like P Diddy remix, but just what I just said.
That's a
taking
cool name,
what
dude.
someone said and
Yeah, I
then
have
flipping
no
it.
cool nicknames.
You're
don't
the
know.
pun princess.
The pun princess.
You're
You're
Megan
the-
Batoon.
Megan Batoon.
Batoon.
Or
I
Megan
actually-
Boss.
Bam gave me a nickname once, and I ran with it for years. He's
What
the
is
first time that he's the first one that ever called me Batoonchi.
Whoa.
And that was my brand for 3
Oh,
years.
yes.
Yeah.
I remember
Bam Martin.
that.
Shout out Bam
Bam,
Martin.
Shout
Bam
out
is
Bam.
good too.
Bam's
is-
pretty good at the puns.
Bam's
Yeah.
really good too.
He's a good remixer as well.
He's
Yeah.
one of those funny guys that are just really slick.
Yeah.
Just all right, dude. That's really
Yeah, so just give us how can people follow your journey? IGs to the Twitters to websites,
Yeah.
podcasts.
All of it.
All of it.
Twitter, Instagram, all of those ones at Megan Batoon, and then I don't know my name. meganbatoon.com is like, you could find anything, my podcast episodes. Just a Tip every Friday. It's an advice podcast. It's comedy. Very fun. But yeah, so listen, the boys are going to be on it soon.
Yeah,
so
we're
check
stoked.
it out.
We're gonna talk a lot more about astrology, I'm assuming, and
Yeah, I'll read up.
our signs and all that.
You know what? That's what I want. My best thing to be just knowing everything.
Yeah.
Can that be my superpower?
that,
To
that-
know everything?
To know everything.
That also has its
Omniscience.
You know,
Yeah.
Omniscience. It's really good.
that's a omniscience.
That means
Yeah,
to know
all-knowing.
all knowing.
KRS.
God is omniscient.
KRS.
knowledge rules supreme. I just watched Hip Hop Evolution.
Oh, okay.
Dang, Charlie's so hip hop.
Sorry.
So hip
I
hop.
thought that was another way to say it. Well, hip hop way, KRS one.
There it is.
Hey.
Yeah,
Hip
we're
hop.
stoked. It's not a. Oh, is it? It's called Zodiac in astrology. Is that the same thing? Zodiac astrology.
Yeah.
All live in the
Zodiac
same-
is
There
more.
is,
It
yeah.
is. It is. I wanted to.
Your zodiac sign, right? That's what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Zodiac, that's like the Chinese thing, right?
That's the Chinese zodiac.
you're right.
Often, mistaken for zodiac.
We're so off on a crazy
Yeah, we
tangent right
don't-
now. We're supposed to wrap this thing up.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Let's keep it.
No, this is good. Yeah, thanks again for coming on to the
Thank
show,
you.
Megan. And Mike Fowl from behind the camera.
Hey.
Oh, hey,
Send
you
us
got it.
home, baby.
Full show notes in the description below, and check out kinjaz.com/podcast for the full show notes. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Mike has such a
Wow,
good radio
that was so
announcer.
nice.
Like, it's
Yeah,
so
it's a
well
beautiful
packaged.
voice.
I know. I
So
want you to
ready
do
to
my
go.
Guys, it was supposed to end there. It was supposed to go shing shing.
No, we didn't do what we want. What else should we talk about?
Shing shing.
All right, thanks for listening, guys. Peace.
Kinjaz Pride.